Was the 2024 election stolen? Well, just like in 2020, the answer is no. There is no evidence of this. And you know what? We need to be the bigger people. We need to move on. We have principles. Principles that say we don't go with things, we don't roll with conspiracies when we don't have evidence. We're different from the MAGA types. We're introspective. They scream about how Trump actually won and how Biden's an illegitimate president. So let's just move on. Now, I understand that the resistance liberal types on X are not the majority of Democrats. I know that there are not Democratic politicians right now saying that the outcome was fixed, that Trump cheated, in the same sense that, in 2020 there were Republican officials actually saying the election was stolen. And J.D. Vance obviously says that Trump actually won in 2020. But look, let's just purge this conspiratorial mindset once and for all. If we want the Republicans to purge it, we have to purge ourselves of it. So, yeah, that's the unsatisfying answer. Be the bigger person, just move on. And I think David Pakman summarized it really well when he said, we aren't like the MAGA types who believe baseless claims without evidence. And then what happened? Trump and his team went to court, they litigated it, and they got laughed out of the courtroom every time. It went horribly for them. They completely embarrassed themselves. Rudy Giuliani became the laughingstock of America. It was terrible. So let's not go down that rabbit hole. Let's just admit that maybe American elections are actually free and fair. Maybe that's something that we do right. We don't do everything right, but our elections are not rigged. They're not stolen. It's very, very hard to commit voter fraud. So I want to read what David Pakman said here. The primary claim that people are writing to me about is that in 2020, Biden got 81 million votes and Trump got 74. And supposedly in 2024, Trump got 74 million votes or something like that, but Harris got only 69 million. So those numbers are actually higher now. Trump's at like 75 million. Harris is at about 70, 71 million. And so Harris saw a decline of 12 million votes. That just can't be. There's no way 81 million people voted Biden in 2020 and only 69 million voted Harris in 2024. It must be fraud. The first thing is, a lot of people started claiming this while votes are still being counted. If we just wait a few days, the numbers change, and the latest projection based on the outstanding vote count right now is that we had 155 million total votes in 2020 and close to 155 million total votes in 2024. It is indeed true that Trump had an increase in the number of votes, and it is true that the Democratic candidate had a decrease in the number of votes. But the total decline is expected to be about 0.5% in total vote count from 2020 to 2024. This is not the massive decline that some people are claiming would be a huge red flag. Trump's support went up by about 4.25 million. The Democratic candidate's support went down about 5 million. This is not some huge red flag that some people are claiming. It's important to keep in mind, too, that we have over 330 million people in this country. So the idea of one candidate's support going up by 4 million, another's going down by about 5 million, is not completely unimaginable. I know Biden's numbers were fantastic last election, but the fact of the matter is people change their minds. People stop turning up. Obama lost votes between 2008 and 2012. Nobody claimed either of those elections were stolen. George W. Bush slightly gained votes from 2000 to 2004. Hillary Clinton got fewer votes in 2016 than Obama got in 2008. So yeah, look, these types of things are normal. So really good point from Pakman. It's tempting, I get it, but we got to be bigger than them. We got to be the ones with principles, the people who actually believe evidence and don't believe baseless lies. He continues, now another claim has been we have had so many new voters since 2020 and we're supposed to believe that turnout is down. That must be fraud. What you must understand is that since 2020, many states implemented automatic voter registration. Tons of people were automatically registered. It used to be because you have to choose to register that if you register, you are more likely to vote than if you are simply automatically registered. It's just not really evidence of fraud. Another claim is that Elon Musk's Starlink satellites may have somehow changed votes. Once again, there is just no evidence of that. I don't even know how plausible that is, but there is certainly no evidence that it happened. So, we simply lost. Yeah. And I mean, David Pakman is the type of guy who goes after Trump whenever he can, whenever there's a good opportunity. And so what you can see here is that there's just not a good opportunity. We have to be realistic. And also, let's be real about the effect that declaring that Trump and the Republicans cheat and that they have some system in place to allow them to cheat, the effect that that might have going forward. This will make Democratic voters even more disillusioned. They'll just say, well, it's just fixed that the Republicans are always going to win, so I might as well not vote against Vance in 2028. I mean, he's just going to win anyhow, you know, because some people view voting as just too much of a hassle, so they might sit out because they're afraid that the Republicans are going to cheat. We don't want people doing that. No, don't perpetuate this nonsense. You know, there were some Democrats joking that, oh yeah, 2020 was stolen, so there's nothing Trump voters can do, so they should just sit this one out to try and, you know, jokingly get Trump supporters to not vote. So yeah, let's not do this to ourselves. Let's not say that the Republicans always have it in the bag because they cheat. No. Biden won fair and square. Trump won fair and square. If you look at virtually any source, you will see that voter fraud is extraordinarily rare. And what's interesting too is that it's usually the Republicans who claim that there's massive voter fraud. So it does kind of make Democrats, I mean, it makes Democrats look very hypocritical to say, oh, these people whine about voter fraud when there's barely any. But this time there actually was. This time when the guy that I don't like won, there actually was voter fraud. Let's just not be like that. Let's recognize that in 2028, Democrats can win again. We did it in 2020. We can do it again in 2028. The American people weren't feeling it in 2024. They were feeling like they needed a revolutionary, charismatic leader, someone who supposedly would serve as an antidote to the economic malaise that we've been going through. And I say supposedly because he's not. He's not going to fix the economy. But yeah, that's just the way that elections often work. The pendulum swings. We couldn't stop the momentum that Trump had coming into 2024, even though there were some promising signs that Kamala Harris could. But yeah, this was not a stolen election. Let's just move forward without any of those types of claims. Conspiracy theories are often very ugly regardless of which side is perpetuating them. And yes, I realize that some have turned out to be true. But let's make sure that we get the evidence straight. And these three claims that David Pakman laid out about a stolen election, I think are really baseless. And I think he did a good job debunking them. But yeah, take it from him. The resistance liberal of YouTube, basically. I'm just some guy. But yeah, you know, I just comment on things. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Do you think that the election was stolen? Is there something that you would like me to address? Do you think there are better claims that the election was stolen that Pakman and I did not address? Do you think that 2020 was stolen and this election was also stolen? That would be pretty interesting. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel. As always, thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you in the next video.